Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene Capehart. I think I hear you. That was my echo problem. Hello,
Hi,
Dave. How you doing?
hi, Darlene. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Welcome
Good.
to Child Abuse Awareness.
Yes,
And
yes. Child
one thing I
abuse
want to
by
show
the.
you, one thing I want to tell you before you get started, if you hit the top right of your screen, you see where it says comments.
Okay, the top right. Let's see.
Okay.
Uh, let
On
me
the
see.
right of the, I
All
don't know
right.
if
I
you,
don't.
there's
I don't
banners,
think.
there's comments, and you'll be able to see what people write to you.
Oh, okay. All right. And will the comments remain after the interview?
Yeah, they should. They
Oh,
should.
okay.
Okay. Welcome everybody. This is an interview with Dave Mendenhall. I hope I pronounced that right.
Mendenhall.
Okay. He has been fighting the corrupt Texas CPS system to get custody of his granddaughter. Without further ado, I'll let you continue on or start off with your story and introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Actually, I need to make a minor correction. I did fight the Texas CPS, and I did get custody of my granddaughter, and I've had her for some time. I'm no longer in the state of Texas, and so I mean all the challenges still continue, but yes, I have been out of their system.
Amen. Praise God.
All right, so
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, you're fine. Uh, so actually, we did lose a child to the system, to the Texas CPS in 2020. So so I went down to Texas in 2021 because my daughter-in-law was pregnant again. Well, she wasn't quite daughter-in-law yet. They got married after the case started, but she was pregnant again, and I went down there to make sure this wouldn't happen. And I still did not. I still did not know the full extent of the corruption of the Texas CPS. So I was still naive at that time. Uh, we showed up at the hospital on July 9th of 2021 at 4 a.m. so we could get so they could induce labor on the child. And so they broke the mother's water, broke her water, and then I saw the heart monitor jumping up and down. And I asked the nurse, "What's this?" And she just said, "Oh my God!" And then I said, "What?" And she said she just brushed it off like nothing. But they opened a CPS case the same day. They told us an investigator would be there at the hospital. The investigator didn't show up until the next day. So the next day, the investigator showed up, and then the day after that, the investigator showed up again with another CPS worker and said they were taking the baby. And then
Without any kind of option of you being the grandfather, the biological grandfather, and they still did not try to make amends and try to put him with a family member. That is so wrong.
yes, they actually I did not know it at the time, but they had secret lies about me at the hospital. to justify not giving the child to me.
Wow.
So, so then that was on a Sunday that they took the baby. So they could have kept the child until Monday, but they went and got to a biased judge on a Sunday and obtained a fraudulent emergency order. So I didn't really know what was going on. So Monday morning, I started getting a hold of attorneys. I thought this would be a slam dunk thing. If I had money for attorneys, I would be able to get my child back.
Right.
So I started Monday morning. I got a hold of between Monday and Tuesday. We got a hold of two attorneys. We hired two attorneys for the father's attorney came on board Wednesday morning, but they had an adversary hearing already scheduled for Wednesday. As it was, they took her on a Sunday, and Wednesday that same week they already had an adversary hearing scheduled.
Well, without telling y'all, right?
Exactly, without telling us all. In fact, the investigator said the emergency hearing would probably be 5 days, but they had already had the emergency hearing on Monday, the day after the removal, without telling us all.
Wow. That is very corrupt.
Oh yeah. Texas is very corrupt. There's lots of horror stories. I
Yeah.
don't know how people could not even realize. I mean, I don't know how people could just put their head in the sand and deny it.
Yeah, it does scare me a lot of times when they go ahead and send CPS to try to save a kid out of an abusive situation, also knowing how corrupt that the system is.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, they have. I guess it's corrupt all the way up to and including the governor. That's
Yep.
what I see. So they have lots of officials in their pocket. I have no doubt.
Yeah, I heard of when that one was, I can't remember whether his name was Perry or Terry.
Oh yeah, I wasn't there when Rick Perry was governor, but yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, I just know somebody had had trouble with him.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they got uh, most all the politicians in their pocket. None of them are really willing to do anything about it.
Right.
So they had this. So come Wednesday, there was an adversary hearing, but really nothing. They just postponed it another 14 days. But pretty much all the discussion was in the back room. There was really no hearing. And the father's attorney really wouldn't even talk to us after this attempted 3-day adversary hearing.
I bet they put, it's almost like they put a thing on the do not talk order on that person.
Oh, on the attorney?
No, on
Yeah,
the
I
other,
mean,
not like it being a hush hush. You're not supposed to talk about it. Keep your mouth shut. You
okay, well, yes, yeah, that's a gag order. And I never formally received a gag order, but we did have our own attorneys telling us not to post nothing on Facebook, our own attorneys not wanting us to talk about it.
by doing that, that was not so making it where you were in a no-win situation.
Yeah. But I certainly didn't give up throughout the whole case. So then they postponed the adversary hearing till July the 27th, and nothing really happened much at that July 27th hearing. So they postponed it again until August 12th. Now, August 12th was beyond the 30 days. That was beyond the time that they were supposed to have an adversary hearing. I mean, there was a 30-day deadline to have an adversary hearing.
Right.
So they had it after that 30-day window. Now, we had a CASA visit on about August 4th. It was a home visit. And it turned out that CASA visit was just used to prepare a fraudulent CASA report to the judge.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't get that CASA report until the night before our adversary hearing. I mean, it was after close of business on August 11th that we got the report. The report was made on August 10th. Now, the CASA report was supposed to be fully submitted 3 days before the hearing. So that was wrong, but there was a totally false accusation in the CASA report that when the mother was shown a new birthing method, she was found to be holding the baby so tight that she was actually choking her. It said that I failed to pull a proper dosage of medication, which is not true. I did pull the proper dosage of medication. I had that visit recorded, but I was never able to use it. And then the other thing we did to get ready for the visit, we made sure the house was all clean, and I guess I should have put locks on the cabinet doors, safety locks. But what I did was I put the cleaning supplies in drawers that were out of reach of a crawling baby.
Right.
But on the CASA report, they said that the house had no cleaning supplies. The CASA worker never asked us anything about cleaning supplies. So yeah, the CASA report came out the night before with just loaded with false accusations. And then in the but that was a new apartment. I just went and got a new apartment because I was a little unsure about the parents' living, accommodations.
Exactly.
So I went and got a new apartment. But anyway, the mother's attorney said, I object to the CASA report. And the judge says, well, you can object all you want, but then went through the report and said, kind of carefully choosing something, she said, well, the grandfather would not let the CPS workers into the residence.
What?
Yeah.
No.
And then the judge kind of went off on a tangent about, that I didn't raise my children, because I was divorced. Yeah, the judge was obviously angry during that adversary hearing. But but what we did is I ended up making a deal. I ended up taking a bait and switch deal. And that's what it turned out to be, as a bait and switch. And they said they were going to place the child with me. after I did a few simple things or a few things. And of course, throughout the case, they fought the placement. The placement never happened.
Yeah, that's what they did this other case that I showed recently at the end of the thing. And they were promising the family that they would do that. And yet they were adopting that child out money. And they get more money if they let somebody adopt them that is a non family member.
Oh yeah, and and since they also said that this, when when CPS took the baby, she was supposedly healthy, but well, around the first part of August, around the time of the just before the CASA visit, they told us this child had cardiomyopathy. So they got more money because this child was a medically fragile baby.
Wow.
So yeah, that a special needs baby, that even gave them more money.
Everyone that came in, and thank you for supporting this channel.
What's that?
I found people have seen some that come in, and I said thanks for coming in and thanks for supporting the channel.
All right, thank you. All right, so so we had that adversary hearing. I was supposed to get the child placed with me. One of my conditions was I was supposed to turn in my psychological evaluation from the National Guard. I was in the Wyoming National Guard at the time. And so I worked hard and went and got that turned in. I was supposed to have 3 parenting sessions with their therapist. And so I ended up doing about a total of 8 sessions with her. It wasn't, she didn't really seem to be too bad of a person. I mean, I was never able to find a babysitter, for a special needs child. That's what they said she was, with health conditions. So I was never able to find childcare, but there was only about 3 or 4 simple things that I was supposed to do, but they didn't make it simple. They made it very complicated. Um, but so the status hearing was scheduled for October 13th. So time went by, but they started early on in the case trying to imply that I was in a sexual relationship with the mother.
Oh man.
Yes, with my daughter-in-law. They got married after the case started. So that was part of their secret false accusations. They had claimed that I was sponge bathing her and changing her pads.
Wow.
That I had asked a nurse about when she could have sex again. And well, that was taken out of context, and they totally lied about the setting. I had it was in the context of her uterus healing up, and for her and Randy's information. But they tried to claim that I just went up to a nurse, which wasn't true at all, and just flat out pressed her for when the mother could have sex again.
Wow.
So there's 3 different reasons, as near as I can tell. 3 pretty likely reasons why they made this up. So one of the reasons was to make me get a psychological evaluation that I normally would not need as an intervener. The other reason was to imply that because I was in a sexual relationship with the mother, that I would not be able to set boundaries because, she did and does have some, mental and anxiety issues. And there was one more. It kind of slipped my mind right now.
That's
But
okay. You're doing great.
what's that?
Then it's okay. You're doing great.
Yeah. All right. So we had the
And
it came up.
I want you to let the people know that these were false accusations that CPS was droning for them not to be able to get the kids. They're trying to keep his grandkid away from him. And these were false allegations. These were not unfounded. They were untrue.
Absolutely. Yes. So so it came time for the status hearing, and I filed for intervention, and the attorney filed for intervention actually the night before the status hearing. At close of business the night before the status hearing. I went and retained the attorney the day before. But the father's attorney did not show up to the status hearing. So what they did was and my attorney, when he filed for a motion of discovery at the same time he filed to the motion of intervention. And so the status hearing was reset for November 4th. And we went to the November 4th hearing. The hearing went on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, a normal status hearing is about 15 minutes.
Wow.
But it went on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. The judge refused to consider placement or even have a hearing on placement. And there had been a couple of cop calls on my daughter-in-law by that time, so they used that as justification to add to the service plan.
Right.
And my son was ordered to take a BIP class every Sunday morning for 6 months. It was in person for about 3 months, and then they went to virtual for the other 3 months. So for 3 months, we had to drive almost an hour, and then drive almost an hour back for his BIP classes. BIP stands for Batters Intervention Prevention Program, I believe.
Yeah.
So they also said my psychological evaluation from the National Guard was not good enough because it was self-reporting. So I was ordered to take another psychological evaluation.
Wow.
But they did grant the motion of discovery, level 1 discovery. I think what the judge did is probably told the attorneys that he would grant it, but told them they better not use it. They better not use any of this information found in discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's speculation, but I have no doubt about that because they refused to use any information granted in discovery.
Seemed like they already had their minds up from the very beginning what they were going to do, and was just trying sweeping things under the rug and trying to act like they're going over
Yeah,
necessary procedures and all that. And that was hogwash.
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I have no doubt they had my case all mapped out. They knew what they were going to do. It's just that I just happened to throw a few monkey wrenches into their plans. So I eventually got my child back.
Thank you for doing that for your granddaughter. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There was no other way to do it. It was either get her or it was all or nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Right. No telling how the other child is doing that CPS got first child, right?
Oh yes, I don't know. I hope I pray for her and I hope someday we'll find her. I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no telling. I don't know.
It would
Uh,
think that it would go to show though that how you did on this one and proved everything, and you were able to attain custody of this, that they should open up that and grant you the other grandchild as well. But they ain't gonna do that.
no, they're not going to do that. No, absolutely not. There's something that's going to have to change, but
These people
I'll
need jailed. These people need jailed for their corruptions because they're lying in the court of law. They're making up falsehoods. They're ruining reputations. They're ruining families just based on lies.
yes, absolutely on lies. I mean, nearly everything against me is based on lies.
See, the justice system is supposed to be of truth for justice and stuff, but that's not the way it's going.
No, not at all. No, it's based on money and whatever.
Yeah, money and power.
Yeah, yeah, power is part of it. Ego.
Yeah, and God knows what else. Because we know a lot of kids have been trafficked, and don't tell them what all was going on.
Yeah, yeah, it's horrendous.
There's some that go missing in the CPS system. It ain't funny.
But I will continue with my timeline, I guess. So, so I was ordered to take a psychological evaluation, and I guess the caseworker had already tried to get an evaluation on me from one of their evaluators. Of course, you know how that is. It was the
Exactly.
same one my son had it took an evaluation with this particular evaluator, and his didn't turn out too bad. But my attorney thought he should do one. I should do an evaluation with one of his evaluators, with his evaluator, and so I took his advice. I didn't want to go to the CPS evaluator.
Exactly.
uh, so that was scheduled for December 13th, and
So
then
how was so how
what's
was
that?
the so how was the granddaughter at this time?
How was she? Well, we were we were getting some Zoom visits with her, some in-person visits, but the caseworker was trying to claim she was in dire medical condition and that we were, just like throughout the case, that she was in dire medical condition and we were just not capable of taking care of her medical needs.
I was wondering how old she was by this time in December.
Yes, how my granddaughter was.
How old?
Oh, how old she was in December. She was about 5 months old in December.
Oh, okay. Not much too long, really.
Yeah, no, no, yeah. Right now, she's almost 3. I mean, she's still not old enough to really know, but I think she understands a little bit. She's
Right.
not really fully talking yet. She's saying certain words, but she's pretty well all caught up physically. She's just not saying full phrases yet. She just says words, single words.
Right.
Um, so they had a they had a the initial permanency hearing was set up for January 12th. And I didn't get the results from my psychological evaluation until just before the initial permanency hearing.
Wow.
And I guess when the results did come out, it said I had an IQ of 110, high average. So the evaluation kind of said I was smart, but implied that I was kind of crazy. I mean, they didn't really name any real what.
From the own people, or
Yeah, that was from my attorney's evaluator.
but
And
that could easily be manipulated from these other people trying to get them to say these things. You know?
yeah, but I mean, it didn't really make any specific diagnosis of any specific mental illness about me. It just made me look like a big narcissist.
Wow.
But they did recommend that I be on that I go see a psychiatrist and be on medication. So I was talking to my attorney just prior to the hearing. You know, he went back to my National Guard evaluation and he said, yes, they said it was self-reporting. And yes, I can understand it is self-reporting. And I told him, well, yeah, I said my self-reporting was just a little different just a few days ago when I had to go back, up to Wyoming to take my my physical and then he kind of panicked and he said, what? He said, you told them? I said, yes, I told them. So we got to the initial permanency hearing, and I guess just before the hearing, my attorney apparently decided he didn't even want to show my evaluation to the judge.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he called me just minutes before the hearing, and of course I agreed with him at that time. I said, yeah, I guess we shouldn't show it. So we went into the hearing. So it was determined that the psychological evaluation was only for placement. And at that time I'd kind of, given up on placement. I knew they weren't going to place her. So the judge ruled that I didn't have to turn in that psychological evaluation, that evaluator was just a consulting expert. So nothing really much happened at that hearing other than that. The judge told CPS that they needed to give the mother a therapist. I mean, this whole time CPS had never given her a therapist, and the judge said you can't just take babies and not give the mother a therapist.
Exactly.
So the judge said, all right, you have until February 1st to give her a therapist. So CPS just kind of dragged their feet on that. They started taking some steps on February 1st, but they never gave the mother a therapist until March.
Wow.
Until it was, like too little too late. CPS, I mean, you bear in mind, they took the child based on an untreated mental condition of the mother, but they delayed giving her a therapist for as long as they could until it was too little too late.
They were waiting to do that so that they could still say that never got treated for her thing. They might even try to say, "Well, we tried, but she didn't want to work with us." That's the way they
Yeah,
work.
yeah, that's exactly the way they work. Yeah, hold on a second here. Uh, yeah, that's exactly the way they work. So, so then we, uh, so my attorney, I guess in March, he withdrew from the case. We had a mutual agreement that he would withdraw from the case. And to back up a little bit, the father's attorney, obviously there was something fishy going on with him, so we had fired him around the time of the status here, after he didn't show up for the status hearing. We fired him. So my son had a new attorney at that point. Um, so the next hearing was let's see, it was on April. They kind of moved that date around. I think originally it was on April 7th, but I believe that hearing was at the end of March. Now that's where it really gets interesting, around the end of March of 2022. There was CPS was getting kind of desperate to get a relinquishment. They were getting pretty desperate at that time. So there's a few things that happened around that time.
Right.
One of them was that we had a permanency conference. And I'm sure you probably know what permanency conferences are. It's just where CPS just pushes their BS.
Right.
So I went and picked the parents up. Went and picked them up, to take them to the permanency conference, and I knew something was going to happen, So I tried to mentally prepare them for the permanency conference. I went and picked them up, and I said, "Okay, this is how the hearing's going to go." I said, "Randy, have you stopped beating your wife yet?" And because that's how it was going to be. They were they were going to, it's questions that already presume you're guilty.
Right.
So then I said, "Tara, they're going to say that Tara looks like Lizzie Borden." And I pulled a picture up of Lizzie Borden on the internet and showed it to them. She was like O.J. Simpson 100 years before O.J. Simpson. And she walked just like O.J. Simpson. uh, yeah, I guess it was a rigged court even back then. The judge's instructions to the jury sounded just like defense closing arguments. But then I kept, I took him to the CPS office. And while I was taking him there, I said, "Okay, you're never going to get her back, so you better relinquish right now." And Randy said, "I respectfully decline." So we showed up at the hearing, and it was already, the mother said feeling sick. Tara said she was feeling sick, and it was already agreed to before the hearing that she would stay out in the truck and do it on Zoom. So we went into the permanency conference, and had the foster mom on video, and she asked if we knew what the child's medical conditions were, and then my son named a couple of them, and the foster mom said, well, it should have been that should have been told to the grandfather. That was told to the grandfather, and it should have been told to the other family members. And so the foster mom just kind of starts going off about a whole, list of medical conditions. My son's attorney was there, writing everything down. And later I asked him what all the medical conditions were. And he said, well, she was just talking faster than my pen could write, so I didn't get them all. But she went through a whole list of medical conditions. Oh, but they said by that time, the mother was physically in the conference because they said the connection was bad. And the connection was bad. They couldn't hear her. So the CPS worker went out to the truck, got her, brought her in. So the mother was in there, but that time. And they started doing what they do, making it sound like the child was really medically fragile. Started reading off a bunch of medical conditions, but then they had a false allegation of fetal alcohol syndrome from the mother. Now the mother does have, mental problems, but she's never drank, never done drugs.
Yeah, that's a new accusation that they added to it, it seems like, huh?
Yeah, they added to it, and there was no specific test. There's no test for fetal alcohol syndrome. I guess they don't even know until the child is. I think there's no test that they can do until the child's 4 years old. So there's really no way to tell. It's just the doctor had said the child had certain facial features that indicated fetal alcohol syndrome. And so the foster mom started implying fetal alcohol syndrome. And even the lying CASA worker whispered to her supervisor, I don't believe that,
Right.
And she also whispered to the supervisor that the foster mom talks too much. So what ended up happening, instead of, and I have no doubt that they plan to make the mother have an episode, a big episode at the CPS office, because I guess she had one way earlier. She had gone off on a rant before about, because the caseworker provoked her into having a rant, into going off on a rant where she called them a bunch of effing kidnappers and baby snatchers, which
That's what they were.
I guess when that came out in the report, I told her, you don't say that to their face, But so they no doubt planned to have her, a big rant where she could be carted out in handcuffs and intimidate us into relinquishing parental rights. So instead of doing that, she had a panic attack, and that really threw them off guard, I guess. So that was one thing that happened at the end of March. And I'll share another. I'll give you another story, another bizarre story that happened at the end of March. Was so what happened was CPS was trying to say that the child possibly had cerebral palsy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got change of that, huh? Uh-oh. Maybe he'll be back. Hopefully his phone didn't die. Please give hearts to him. Hopefully play something while we wait on him to come back. There's so much bad weather around as well. I'm hoping that the weather's okay in his area. Hey, welcome back. You can cut off your cam if you want to. You don't have to, but you're fine. Add to stage.
So I lost you there for a
Yeah.
second. So where did I leave off at?
Did you want? I don't know if you want to go away with your cam or keep your cam on or whatever, because your cam's on. So it's up to you.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll go ahead and turn my cam off. Hold on a second.
She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah, oh yeah, she is.
Yeah,
Yeah, she certainly is.
little girl. Look.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, she sure is.
oh.
All right, looks like my cam's off. All right, so I can you tell me where I left off at?
You were talking about the new. You was about to tell a new story. In March.
Okay, I was about to tell the new story about when we went to the neurologist to get the results of the MRI.
You said that the new story we didn't hear about neurologists yet.
Yeah, and then after that, I just lost you. You didn't hear anything after that.
We didn't hear nothing about you saying neurologist. It just like it cut off.
Oh wow. Well,
Do you
so
look? Hit the comments right quick. You got a comment to you. Somebody said something to you.
all right, hold on.
Little, little wing.
What's that?
Little says prayers for your granddaughter and you, Dave, and your family.
Oh, thank you. All right. All right. So, yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
That's great.
Okay, so CPS was trying to claim that this child possibly had cerebral palsy,
Right.
and we went to the neurologist to get the results of the MRI, and so I was now these appointments where I would show up and the foster mom would show up. It was me and the foster mom going to all these doctor appointments. So I showed up at the neurologist about 20 minutes early to get the results, for the MRI. And I went up, went to the receptionist and said, I'm the grandfather. The foster mom should be coming in soon. And the receptionist said, well, when the foster mom gets here, you're all going to go back together to see the neurologist. So I left, went to the bathroom, came back out. There was the foster mom. And she claimed that it was just only her allowed back to see the neurologist.
Wow.
And so then, I knew that wasn't true, but I sat down in the waiting room, didn't say anything. I was sitting down by the foster mom. The foster mom had my granddaughter in a carrier all covered up where I couldn't even see her. And so she pulls out a pamphlet and starts reading. The pamphlet said Holy Spirit on it. And I just looked out the window with a slight smile, just thinking to myself about what a hypocritic piece of trash she was.
Right.
and, and so after a little while of that, just sitting there, I just got up and went to another place in the waiting room, went over by the door, by the entry. And so after I did that, the foster mom went back into the neurologist. And so then I went up to the desk again and I asked again, is it just the foster mom allowed back or am I allowed back too? And so the receptionist escorted me back to see the neurologist. And right when I got back there, the neurologist put the report in my hand, the report of the MRI. And the MRI was clean across the board. No cerebral palsy, no neurological problems at all. And so, yeah, the foster mom just made some kind of comment like, "Oh, they let you back." Well, so the caseworker made a report, and then it was, at the permanency hearing, which was the next hearing that happened soon after. At the permanency hearing, so I didn't have an attorney at that time. My attorney had withdrawn, but what the foster mom story was that that I was not allowed back to see the neurologist, and that the only reason they let me back is because I was pacing back and forth and making the receptionist nervous, so they let me back.
Wow.
Now, I don't think they would have let me back if I was doing that. I think they probably would have called security, don't you?
I think they would have kicked you out of there.
Yeah.
Oh no, he got. Um, I guess a button got hit again. So he shall be back. Feel free to put your link in here, little wing. For me to say Texas CPS are so corrupt, I got so many people, so many friends that don't have access to their kids because of the Texas corrupt CPS system. Yeah, he took it. It was involved as far as even the governors and everything else was corrupt. Everything was in on it. The judge is corrupt. Welcome back, Dave.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
lost you again.
little
Yeah.
little comment is always take your concerns for someone higher up than your caseworker, the supervisor for starts, and maybe climb up if you have to. And she said maybe you have already.
Oh, well, there was really no place to climb up to because uh, the attorneys would never take it to the appeals court. I mean, we only got one. They only filed a de novo once, and it just went to the district judge that was over the associate judge, and that judge upheld most of her rulings. Um, yeah, there was really no place to go higher. Like I said, Texas is corrupt all the way up to and including the governor. Um, there was one time that I went to the CPS office. There was two of them. There was the Brown Heady building where the CPS office was, and then there were across the street there was the Department of DFPS, Department of Family and Protective Services building. And so I went to the CPS office at the Brown Heady building and talked to the receptionist there, and told her I wanted to file a complaint against my caseworker. And she was really, she said, "Oh, I was asking about internal affairs, though." And she said, "Yeah, they're over across the street." I mean, she was really nice and polite, gave me a phone number to call, which is the phone number was the worthless, Governor Consumer Affairs line. But she was really nice, gave me a phone number, really polite. And then so I thought, well, for kicks and giggles, I'll go over there across the street and ask them about internal affairs. And so I went over there, walked in the door, and there was nothing but a security guard, kind of a seedy looking security guard. And I said, "Do you have an internal affairs? Can I talk to him?" And he kind of hesitated for a second, and then he pointed his finger up in the air, kind of up in the air and kind of toward the door, and he said, "Leave." And well, what am I going to do? That's a pretty intimidating situation. I turned around and walked out. But while I was walking out, he said, "Don't come back." And so I just flipped him off while I was walking out. I just flipped him off with my back still to him and walked out and left.
Right. Yeah, she said she could hear the heartache in your voice. He's
Oh,
making
yeah.
noise. Yeah, and see, you can hear the granddaughter in the background, so he has custody of her. He did win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Rachel. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming, and I'm glad you coming and sharing your stuff, and I'll let you continue on. But I am so happy that you're a voice for some of the people also.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think I was still talking about that. I was talking about that hearing, and I got cut off there, right? I was talking about that initial permanency hearing where
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to talk because nothing happened when I pushed on my camera, my microphone. Did you catch that part of it?
No, I didn't catch that part, and I know that you also was in there, with at the neurologist, and they're trying to say that you did this, that, and the other, pacing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So when they were telling that to the judge and asked me to tell my side of the story, I wasn't able to because the court hearing being by Zoom, when I tried to turn on the judge said, "What's your side of the story?" And I tried to turn on my microphone and camera, and nothing happened. So, and I didn't have an attorney at the time. I was in between attorneys. I didn't even get to sell my side of the story. Oh, are you still there? Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
you're still there.
yes, I
Yeah, all right. I keep wondering if I'm going to get cut off again.
am.
uh, so yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty bizarre right there. But anyway, the judge at that hearing, she made just a whole bunch of nutty rulings. She just went off the deep end. That was our last hearing with her, and she said that she wanted me to turn over that psychological evaluation that she agreed I didn't have to turn over. Uh, she wanted me to take a drug test.
Wow.
She wanted the mother to take a drug test that has no drug history. I guess my son, he never, did drugs during the case. His drug use was, about 4 years prior to the case. So, during both cases, he never had any drug issues.
Hey, hold on a minute. She said CPS needs more funding for resources or something. Something needs to change. Too many kids falling through the system. Well, it's not a matter. I don't think it's a matter of them needing more resources because that's what they're doing. They're stealing our kids and
Yeah.
um, selling them to. They get a lot more money if they get adopted through a non-custodial family of a
No,
non-family member. They'll get more
they
money.
don't. Yeah, exactly. More money. No, they don't need more resources at all. They need more accountability.
Yeah,
They
that's
need
what they
more
need is more
oversight.
accountability. That's for sure.
That's where the resources need to go, is to accountability and oversight. I mean, if they
Even
weren't,
to the lawyers, judges, even to the governors, everybody that's letting this
yeah,
happen, they need accountability as well.
yeah. So that's where the resources need to go, is to accountability. I hear that this is just what I hear. I only know about my case. I don't know about every other case, but what I hear is 75 to 85% of the kids that are taken don't need to be taken. Is a unnecessary removal.
Exactly.
So so if they didn't take all these kids that didn't need to be taken, even if it was only 50%, that didn't need to be taken. If they didn't take all these kids that didn't need to be taken, they wouldn't need all these resources. They wouldn't need so many foster parents. They wouldn't be, have a shortage of foster parents. Uh, they would have more resources if they would just focus on the children that truly needed protection.
Yeah, and a lot of times, if you don't bow down to them on what they tell you to do, like if we tell you to say that she is really sick and got cerebral palsy, then you are to do this. And then if you don't say that or something, then they'll ex-nay you as being a foster parent too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a totally corrupt system with no accountability. They could pretty much lie and say anything they want. Um, yeah, I guess I'll go back to my case again. So yeah, I said the judge went way off the deep end. Just made a whole bunch. I told you, I guess, about some of the nutty rulings she made.
Right.
Um, so all of her rulings got de novoed, and the de novo went to the district judge. Right one step above her. And that district judge upheld most of her rulings. The ones that he did not uphold was, he said I didn't have to disclose my psychological evaluation, and he said the parents didn't have to pay child support, which was uh, totally bizarre, because the mother was disabled on disability. Why should she have to pay child support? And the father had just recently been forced to quit his job because of the CPS case. He'd been forced by the caseworker to quit his job. And so the judge is trying to make him pay child support.
Wow.
So that's about the two rulings that the judge did overturn. Pretty much all of her other rulings, he upheld them. But with my psychological evaluation, he said, let's be clear here, though.
Oh, he got knocked out again. Probably tended to the little one. She was crying a little bit. So he'll be back in a minute. Well, this is a devastating case, and this is not the first one. Like I said, I've got plenty of friends that's going through the system. Yeah. Could easily too. There he is. Here he comes.
I lost you again.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep getting cut off there.
She
Can you
said,
hear me?
Little Wing said, that's okay, Dave. We are listening. Dang internet cut out probably.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see. Where did I was talking about the district judge, the ruling of the district judge at the de novo hearing, right?
Right. Yes.
And the psychological evaluation. Did I
Yeah,
what he ruled about my psychological evaluation? Did you catch that?
yeah, that they said before that they didn't need it, it wasn't important. Now they're wanting it. Right? Uh-oh. I don't hear nothing. Can you hear anything on my end? Is it mine this time? Testing 1, 2, testing.
Yeah, I could hear you. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes,
You can hear me now?
yes I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I don't know how long. I'll stay here for a little while, as long as I can, till I need to tend to my granddaughter. But yeah.
Can you hear him now, little?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can hear you now. Little says she
Okay.
cannot hear me, but I
All
can
right.
hear.
So the district judge ruled that I didn't have to turn over the one psychological evaluation because it was a consulting expert. Okay. Did you catch that part?
Yes, I did.
Okay. But I had to take another one that was ordered by the department.
Oh, great. Okay, your voice went away again, Dave. Still can't hear you. We were waiting patiently. We still can't hear you. Just letting you know we can't hear you still.
All right.
There you
Well,
are.
I will. Am I here now?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. I was about ready to disconnect and try to reconnect because I could hear you and you couldn't hear me. All right. All right. So he said from that point on, though, they would bury the one by the consulting expert. From that point on, any psychological evaluations, whether they were from me or from the department, they had to be disclosed. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So very quickly, the caseworker ordered another psychological evaluation for about 5 days, not 5 business days, but 5 days from the 5 days after that hearing. I had to go take another one.
Another one?
Yeah, another psychological evaluation for that was ordered by the caseworker.
This will be the third one you had then, right? Uh-oh, his voice went out again. Yes. Her voice is so precious. We can't hear you still, Dave. There you are.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
All
there you
right.
are.
In the meantime, the father's attorney set me up with a evaluation too, and that one was favorable to me, but so it's the third or the fourth one, depending on how you want to count it. uh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Uh, so I went to took the CPS one. Now that one he didn't when the result.
Oh, you went out again, Dave. Yeah, they were so corrupt that they was trying to find a bad one just to try to catch him, to try to
Yeah,
give him protecting the kid.
yeah. Can you hear me though?
Yes, now I can hear you again. Yes.
Okay. So that one, um, they didn't really accuse me of having any dysfunctions when the psychological evaluation came out. They kind of said I was borderline on some things, but they said I had an IQ of 78.
Oh, wow. And yet the other one said you had an IQ of 110. YouTube, stop messing him up. He's trying to talk, man. You're not going to win. He's going to win because he's going to tell his story. He's going to keep telling it, too. I'll let you know when we can hear you again, Dave. Yes, exactly. And you can, I guarantee you, look at all the programs we could get the CPS workers on. All the psychological evaluations that they were evaluated. Oh, man. Exactly. I love to see their evaluations on their own, their evaluations on themselves. We might turn and run, man. Not sure what's going on. We might run. We'll be like, defund the CPS. We got to have better answers for our kids because this one is not the right answer. Doing these to our children. Still can't hear you, Dave. Okay. So I think he's going to come back. He left and he's coming right back. So he's going to try it that way. Yeah,
Can you
welcome
hear
back.
me yet?
Yes,
Can you
I
hear
can hear
me?
you now.
Okay.
Feel like we're on a Verizon commercial for a little while.
All right. So they said just they basically just said I was too stupid, and if I was taking care of a kid, I'd get because I was so stupid, I'd probably get frustrated pretty easily, and abuse the child.
Oh, wow. Well, you didn't get frustrated yet. They wanted you to give up.
Yeah, yeah, they wanted me to give up. I mean, yeah, I hung in there. I hung in there and played their game, and I'm still doing it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just so about a week after that. Hold on, Rachel. Yeah, she's getting pretty antsy. I don't know. Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So about a week after that, we had mediation, and I guess my son's attorney really wanted to make a deal at mediation. And I had a new attorney at that point. My attorney made her appearance on April 21st. But my son's attorney really wanted to make a deal on mediation. I wasn't. I didn't want to make a deal at all. I wanted a jury trial. But when we went to mediation, CPS.
Uh-oh. You've always again.
Now the mediator. Keep in mind, even the mediator said there was no point in making a deal with them. Did you hear that part?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, your voice went away again. It's almost like they're trying to shut you up, man. It ain't gonna work. Still can't hear you again. Now he's got an IQ of 110. The first analysis that he did. He's got an IQ of 110, and then they trying to get that other evaluation, and they're just keep trying to come up with excuses on why they don't need to give that baby to them, and it's all based on lies. Excuse me. Maybe he's tending to the sweet one. The good one. Did you hear her precious singing in the background? It's so sweet. So that they could, they wanted to make sure that they didn't give the kid back to the family because they was getting more money for every illness or sickness the child's got. They get more money, and so for exactly everybody involved, even the court system, the CPS, and the judges, and the governors, and the governor, the senators, everybody in line that goes along with this, and even the doctors who did not stand up because they went ahead and took money for their fear. Yeah, like we said earlier, you wasn't here during that part, but they had done took his first grandchild, and then he was there when she was giving birth, and then the heart rate just kept going up, you know. And welcome back. There you are.
All right. Thank you. All right. We'll see how long this connection lasts. Or we'll see. I might have to tend to my granddaughter here too pretty quick. But
Yeah,
if we're not able to continue the interview, I guess we should do it at another time.
yeah, we could. Yeah, we could go as long as you. Yeah, we could do it again or two.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So even the mediator said you're better off going to trial. And the father's attorney was still wanting to make a deal.
Yeah, the United States needs to do better for their children. Yeah, cut off again, Dave. If you want to, we could continue this another time, and maybe we'll have better connection. But we'll have to remember where you left off. Just let me know. Welcome back.
Oh, welcome back. Okay. Even the mediator said there was a. Oh no, I think my granddaughter's getting pretty antsy. She's ready for a walk. She's ready to walk her and the dog. I'm here by myself because I didn't know how anybody else would take to me doing an interview. So I'm here by myself.
Yeah,
I wanted to do this interview by myself, and I'm here with my granddaughter. So
yeah.
and she's getting. I need to attend to her needs, so I think we should just continue this another time.
Okay, well that sounds good, and I appreciate you for what you have done, and then we'll do a part two one day. Okay.
All right.
Just remember, we might have to go back a little bit, and to refurbish. Maybe start with the cerebral palsy thing and go from there.
All right. All right. Yeah, maybe we should go back to the cerebral palsy point. All right.
Go all the way down. And little Wee says you're doing great, and she's thanking you. She gave you hearts and everything.
Yep.
And give the love to the little one for us, okay?
All right. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for coming to support us. For support Dave too on this.
All
Y'all
right.
are
Yeah.
amazing. All right, well, thank you so much, and we'll get back in touch, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.